What if the secret to mastering your life, overcoming every obstacle, and achieving true inner peace wasn't about striving harder, but about mastering your mind? Imagine waking up every day with a clear, focused purpose, undisturbed by the chaos of the world around you. That's the power of Stoicism, a philosophy that has withstood the test of time. In today's video, I'm going to show you 12 Stoic practices for daily life that can radically transform your mindset, your actions, and your future. This isn't just a philosophy for philosophers. This is a practical guide to achieving mastery over your life. So, if you're ready to unlock the power of your mind, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Welcome to Stoic Mastery, where we unlock the secrets of Stoic wisdom and apply them to our modern lives. Number 1, the dichotomy of control. Focus on what you can control. One of the most powerful principles in Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. The idea that there are two categories in life, things we can control and things we cannot. The Stoics teach us that we should focus our energy only on the things within our control, like our thoughts, actions, and reactions, and let go of everything outside of it, such as the actions of others, the weather, or external events. This practice immediately empowers us because it reminds us that we're not at the mercy of circumstances. When you focus on what you can control, you reclaim your power. Instead of wasting mental energy on external factors, you direct it toward your behavior and mindset. This mindset reduces stress, anxiety, and feelings of helplessness because you're no longer reacting to things beyond your control. In every situation, ask yourself, can I control this? If the answer is no, let it go. By practicing this, you free yourself from unnecessary worry and frustration. Remember, you can only control your response, not the situation itself. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below with, I control my reactions, not the world. Let's start applying this wisdom together. Number 2, negative visualization. Prepare for the worst to handle the best. One of the most intriguing and powerful Stoic practices is negative visualization, the idea that we should imagine the worst-case scenario, not to dwell in negativity, but to prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally for life's challenges. At first glance, this might sound counterintuitive. Why would we want to focus on the worst possible outcome? The key here is mental preparation. When you visualize potential setbacks, losses, or challenges, you're not wishing for bad things to happen, but you're arming yourself with the resilience needed to face them. Think about it. When you're prepared for something to go wrong, you'll be less shaken if it does. Instead of reacting with panic or frustration, you'll respond with calm and clarity because you've already considered the possibility and accepted it. This practice also shifts our mindset. By imagining the worst, we often realize how much we already have and how much of our fear is tied to losing things that are not as essential as we think. Whether it's our job, a relationship, or even our health, imagining losing them can help us appreciate them more and detach from the fear of losing them. Negative visualization connects directly to dark psychology by showing us how acknowledging our fears weakens their hold on us. Instead of avoiding or fearing loss, we embrace it and prepare for it, turning fear into a tool of empowerment. I encourage you to try it. Take a moment each day to think of a worst-case scenario and consider how you would handle it. By doing this, you'll reduce anxiety and be ready for anything life throws your way. Comment below with I prepare for the worst, so I'm ready for anything. Let's transform fear into strength together. Number 3, amor fati, love of fate. In Stoicism, one of the most powerful and transformative principles is amor fati, which translates to the love of fate. This practice teaches us to not only accept the events of our lives, but to embrace them, no matter how difficult or unexpected they may be. Amor fati goes beyond mere acceptance of the things that happen to us. It's about seeing everything that occurs, whether good or bad, as an opportunity for growth. It encourages us to love the things that happen to us because they are part of the journey that shapes who we are and who we are becoming. Rather than resisting the challenges and setbacks, Stoics believe we should welcome them as necessary steps on the path to wisdom, strength, and resilience. This philosophy helps to shift our mindset from one of frustration and defeat to one of empowerment. Instead of asking, "Why me?" when faced with hardship, Amor Fati asks us to ask, "What can I learn from this?" Every setback becomes an opportunity for us to apply our Stoic virtues: courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance. In a world that often glorifies avoiding pain, Amor Fati teaches us that it's in our greatest challenges that we find our true strength. It aligns with dark psychology by revealing that the way we perceive events ultimately dictates how we feel about them. When we choose to love whatever comes our way, we eliminate fear, resistance, and the emotional weight of suffering. When you begin to embrace everything as part of your story, you'll realize that your life, even in its hardships, is exactly what you need to become who you are meant to be. Comment below with, "I embrace whatever comes my way." Let's shift our mindset and love our fate together. Number 4, memento mori, remember you will die. One of the most impactful Stoic practices is memento mori, which translates to remember you will die. While this might sound morbid at first, it's actually one of the most powerful practices for living a life filled with purpose, clarity, and focus. In Stoic philosophy, memento mori serves as a constant reminder of the brevity and impermanence of life. We all know on some level that life is finite, but how often do we truly reflect on it? Stoics believe that by acknowledging our mortality, we are better equipped to live with intention. This practice helps us recognize that time is our most precious resource, and it motivates us to live each day with a sense of urgency and gratitude. When you keep death in mind, everything else begins to fall into perspective. The small annoyances, the setbacks, the trivial concerns, they all lose their power over you. Instead, you begin to focus on what truly matters, living in alignment with your values, pursuing meaningful goals, and making the most of the time you have. Memento mori also encourages us to live fully, knowing that life is uncertain. It teaches us not to postpone what's important, but to take action now. If we constantly delay our dreams, relationships, or passions, we risk looking back with regret, wishing we had acted sooner. Stoicism teaches us that every moment is an opportunity to live authentically and in harmony with our purpose. This practice is closely related to dark psychology in that it encourages us to control how we perceive time and death. Instead of being afraid, we take death as a guide to living better and more meaningfully. Comment below with, "I live as if every day is my last." Embrace the present and make the most of the time you have. Number 5, practice gratitude. Appreciate what you have. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful Stoic practices. It encourages us to shift our focus from what we lack to what we already have. By practicing gratitude daily, we are able to find contentment and fulfillment, no matter the circumstances. In Stoicism, gratitude isn't just about being thankful for the good things in life. It's about recognizing the value in everything, even the challenges, the struggles, and the hardships. Every experience, whether pleasant or difficult, offers something to learn or appreciate. This perspective helps us avoid taking things for granted and fosters a deeper sense of peace. Stoic gratitude encourages us to focus on what we can control and what we already have, rather than endlessly chasing things outside of our control. It's easy to get caught up in wanting more money, more success, more possessions, but Stoicism teaches that true happiness doesn't come from these external things. It comes from appreciating the present moment and everything in it. Practicing gratitude also helps us to detach from the idea of entitlement. In today's world, many people feel entitled to comfort, luxury, and convenience. But the Stoic approach teaches us that the more we expect, the more we are likely to suffer when things don't go our way. By embracing gratitude, we reduce our attachment to external circumstances and create a sense of internal contentment. In terms of dark psychology, gratitude helps us avoid being manipulated by our desires. It teaches us to find peace in the present without constantly seeking validation from the outside world. When we are grateful, we are less likely to be swayed by external pressures. Comment below with "Gratitude transforms my reality." Let's practice gratitude together and create a life of peace and fulfillment. Number 6, self-control. Master your impulses. One of the most empowering practices in Stoicism is self-control. Stoic philosophy teaches that true strength comes not from the ability to control the world around us, but from our ability to control ourselves, particularly our impulses, desires, and reactions. In a world that constantly pushes us toward instant gratification, the practice of self-control is more crucial than ever. Stoicism teaches that we should not be at the mercy of our emotions or desires. Instead, we should train ourselves to act based on reason and virtue, rather than being led by impulsive reactions. This practice helps us build mental resilience, allowing us to make decisions that align with our long-term values, rather than succumbing to fleeting temptations. In daily life, this could manifest in many ways, whether it's resisting the temptation to overindulge in food, managing emotional outbursts, or practicing restraint when faced with distractions. Self-control isn't about denial or suppressing desires entirely. It's about moderation and ensuring that we are not ruled by our impulses. Stoicism teaches us to find balance in every aspect of life, whether it's in our habits, relationships, or emotional reactions. Relating this to dark psychology, self-control helps us avoid being manipulated by external influences. By learning to control our desires, we remove the influence of external pressures, advertisements, and societal norms, which often lead us to act against our best interests. Self-control enables us to act intentionally and stay true to our purpose, regardless of outside influences. By cultivating self-control, we increase our power to live a life of integrity, focus, and long-term fulfillment. We learn that true freedom is not in satisfying every whim, but in mastering our own mind. Comment below with "I control my impulses," not the other way around. Let's commit to mastering ourselves together. Number 7, reflection. Examine yourself daily. One of the most vital practices in Stoicism is daily reflection, the process of looking back on your day, evaluating your thoughts, actions, and decisions, and asking yourself what you could have done better. This practice is at the heart of personal growth and development, allowing us to continuously improve ourselves and align more closely with Stoic virtues. The Stoics believed that in order to live a life of virtue and wisdom, we must first understand ourselves. Reflection gives us the opportunity to critically examine our behavior, understand our triggers, and identify areas where we may have reacted emotionally or acted against our values. It's about taking responsibility for our actions and using the insights gained to make better choices moving forward. By reflecting on our day, we engage in a process of self-correction. When we make mistakes, and we all do, we can learn from them rather than simply letting them pass by unnoticed. This constant practice of self-examination helps us become more self-aware, which is the first step toward mastery over our emotions and actions. In a world that often moves too fast, taking the time each day to pause and reflect can be a game changer. Whether it's at the end of the day or during a quiet moment in the morning, asking yourself questions like, "Did I act with virtue today?" Did I let my emotions control me? Helps you stay on track with your Stoic principles. Reflecting on your thoughts and actions also aligns with dark psychology, as it helps you break free from automatic reactions and social conditioning. Instead of mindlessly reacting, you create space for conscious, intentional choices. Comment below with, "Reflection is the key to growth." Let's make self-awareness and growth a daily habit. Number 8. Focus on the present moment. Let go of the past and future. One of the most essential Stoic practices for living a peaceful and fulfilling life is learning to focus on the present moment. Stoicism teaches that dwelling on the past or worrying about the future only distracts us from the task at hand and steals our peace of mind. The present moment is the only time we have power over, and by focusing on it, we can make better decisions and lead more intentional lives. In the philosophy of Stoicism, the past is gone and the future is uncertain. While it's important to learn from the past and plan for the future, Stoics encourage us to fully engage with the present, because this is where we have control. Every moment is an opportunity to practice virtue, to make decisions that align with our values, and to find peace. Worrying about the future or regretting the past often leads to unnecessary stress, anxiety, and fear. Stoicism teaches us to let go of the illusion of control over these things. Instead of getting lost in what has already happened or what might come, we should commit ourselves to making the most of the now. By accepting the present moment, we reduce the power that external events or past mistakes have over our minds. In terms of dark psychology, this principle allows us to detach from the emotional manipulation of past traumas or future anxieties. By staying focused on the present, we protect ourselves from being dragged down by what we cannot change. Comment below with, "The present moment is all I have." Let's embrace the now and create a life of clarity and focus together. Number 9. Virtue as the highest good. Live with integrity. In Stoicism, the pursuit of virtue is considered the highest good, and everything else, whether wealth, success, or pleasure, should be secondary to it. Virtue in Stoic philosophy is defined as living in accordance with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These 4 cardinal virtues guide us toward a life of integrity, self-mastery, and meaningful fulfillment. To the Stoics, virtue is not just about moral actions. It's about how we align our thoughts and behavior with the highest ideals. Wisdom is knowing what is truly important in life. Courage is facing challenges head-on without fear. Justice is acting fairly and compassionately toward others, and temperance is exercising control over our desires and impulses. Living a life centered on virtue means making decisions based on what is morally right, rather than what is easy, comfortable, or immediately gratifying. It is about acting with integrity, even when no one is watching, because doing so aligns us with the best version of ourselves. The Stoics believed that virtue is the only true source of happiness, and everything else, including wealth, fame, and pleasure, is fleeting and unreliable. By focusing on virtue, we can find peace regardless of external circumstances. In a world that often values external success over inner character, Stoicism encourages us to prioritize virtue over everything else. This practice also connects to dark psychology, as living with integrity makes us less susceptible to manipulation and external pressures. It strengthens our self-awareness and ensures that we are not swayed by transient desires. Comment below with, "Virtue is my compass." Let's commit to living with integrity and creating lives of purpose and meaning. Number 10. Acceptance. Let go of resistance to what is. One of the most powerful Stoic practices is learning the art of acceptance, not just accepting what happens to us, but fully embracing it without resistance. This is the core of Stoic serenity, accepting what you cannot control and making peace with the reality of life, both the good and the bad. Stoics believe that resistance to what is causes unnecessary suffering. When we resist the present moment or fight against things we cannot change, we waste energy on emotions like frustration, anger, or regret. Stoicism teaches us that everything that happens is a natural part of life, and the key to inner peace is to accept it as such. This doesn't mean we should passively sit back and let life happen to us. It means we should accept reality for what it is, and then choose how to respond with wisdom and virtue. By practicing acceptance, we free ourselves from the constant struggle of wishing things were different. It helps us to let go of expectations and detach from the desire to control everything. In turn, this reduces stress and anxiety because we are no longer fighting against the flow of life. The Stoic mindset encourages us to ask, what can I learn from this situation, rather than focusing on how we wish it were different? This practice is closely related to dark psychology, in that it helps us detach from emotional manipulation. When we stop resisting external circumstances and instead choose to accept them, we regain control over our emotional responses and remove the power others or circumstances have over us. Comment below with, "I accept what I cannot change." Let's practice acceptance together and live with greater peace and clarity. Number 11, avoiding the herd mentality. Think for yourself. In a world dominated by opinions, trends, and societal pressures, Stoicism teaches us the value of thinking for ourselves. Avoiding the herd mentality is a fundamental Stoic practice that encourages us to develop independent judgment, make decisions based on our own values, and not follow the crowd simply because it's easier or expected. The Stoics believed that true freedom lies in the ability to think critically and make decisions that align with your own principles, not the opinions of others. In today's society, it's easy to fall into the trap of following the masses, whether it's the latest trends, the opinions of social influencers, or the pressures of conforming to societal standards. Stoicism warns against this, emphasizing that true virtue comes from living according to your own reason and wisdom, not by blindly following what everyone else is doing. When we follow the herd, we lose the power of self-governance. We let external forces, like social media or popular culture, dictate how we should behave, what we should believe, and what we should value. By choosing to think independently, we reclaim control over our decisions and actions, aligning them with our own values and not the fleeting whims of society. This Stoic practice also ties into dark psychology, which teaches us that when we think for ourselves, we become less susceptible to influence and manipulation. We stop being swayed by emotional appeals or external pressures, and instead choose our paths based on reason, reflection, and self-awareness. Comment below with, "I think for myself, not the crowd." Let's embrace independent thinking and live life on our own terms. Number 12, detachment. Don't be attached to things. In Stoicism, one of the most liberating practices is the concept of detachment, the ability to let go of attachment to things, outcomes, and even people. This doesn't mean we stop caring about or appreciating the world around us, but rather, it's about not relying on external factors for our happiness, security, or sense of self-worth. Detachment teaches us that when we become too attached to material possessions, achievements, or even relationships, we give them power over us. We start to define ourselves by what we have or what we've accomplished, making it difficult to feel at peace if those things are taken away. The Stoics, however, remind us that true freedom comes from not needing anything outside of ourselves to be content. For example, if we lose our job, a relationship, or a possession, detachment allows us to acknowledge the loss without being overwhelmed by it. Instead of reacting with despair or anger, we remain calm because we've recognized that our happiness doesn't depend on external circumstances. Stoicism teaches that we should value things but not attach our identity or happiness to them. This allows us to remain steady no matter what life brings. In terms of dark psychology, detachment allows us to break free from emotional manipulation. By not being emotionally attached to outcomes, possessions, or others' opinions, we remain emotionally resilient and in control of our reactions. We stop being controlled by desires, fears, or external pressures. Comment below with, "I find freedom in detachment." Let's practice letting go of what we can't control and live a life of peace and strength.